money can never be the cause of depression.
What do you mean?
In real sense of a functional adult.
Okay.
Because a functional adult knows that they have the capacity to rise again, even if in the event a job comes to an end.
Yes.
You and I know we have skills that we can monetize.
True.
In an office or out of office.
Okay.
Okay?
That's true.
So a functional adult can never have money as a source of depression.
In my line of work as a personal finance coach, I've learned that we pick our financial habits from our childhood, that our childhood directs a lot of how we use our money or how we spend our money or our investment habits as adults. Therefore, I found it fit to invite a psychotherapist who is also my friend, Joan, to help us unpack this conversation. Before we start having this conversation, I'll invite Joan to introduce herself. Joan? Thank you, and also thank you for coming to have this conversation with the Wealth Tribe.
Thank you so much for inviting me. So my name is Joan Kirera. I am a therapist who covers a large spectrum of client work, from child to marriages to families and basically adults. So all those are covered. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah, welcome. My name is Agatha from the Wealth Tribe, and this is where we learn how to build wealth together. So Joan, let's start with the conversation about our money habits. And I wanted you to tell us, do we pick our money habits from our childhood or from our parents?
So basically, everything we are is learned from somewhere, because we come to the world really as we are,
Yes.
not knowing much.
Yeah.
So the environment where we are raised determines everything that we are. It determines how we perceive life, our attitudes towards certain things, and that is money inclusive.
Yes.
So how we see our parents handle money, the emotions that we see displayed where money is concerned,
Yes.
and also how we are treated when we need money,
Yes.
how money is handled at home, how it is managed, even sometimes who owns money, who doesn't, determines how our view of money and also how we handle money, the actions and the behaviors that we have concerning money.
Okay, so I will give a short story. I know someone who told me that when they were growing up, the dad always used to buy just half a kg of sugar all the time. And remember, she belongs to a large family. Like, there are about 10 kids in that family. If you include the two parents, that's a large family, and maybe they have a helper, for example. And so anytime they needed sugar or any other food commodity, the dad always used to buy half a kg of sugar, right? And so she even told me a story of one day they actually had an event, an occasion, a family occasion. And she knows that the father had money in his pocket because he had just made a sale like a week ago. So she knew the father had a lot of money. And so her expectation was, in this occasion, the dad was going to go an extra mile and maybe buy like 5 kgs of meat. But unfortunately, the dad bought 1 kg of meat for this occasion, and there were many people. And so these are some of the stories she shares about how she learned what we call in Kenya kadogo economy. And so she realized later that she picked up these habits. So what's your take on these? Like, do we also learn this scarcity mentality and abundance mentality from our childhood?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. When you're spending on the child in very little ways,
Yes.
when there's evidence that you can do better, then you're teaching the child they are not worthy where money is concerned.
Okay.
So they continue to behave and treat themselves badly where money is concerned, so that, like the case you cited, the person still does not see their worth where money is concerned. That is why you will go extra to do so little with the money that you get, because you learned that you don't matter where money is concerned. So the scarcity mentality is actually a lack of worth on the self.
All right. That's interesting, because I've also learned that people who grew up from such childhoods, they also have a difficulty in engaging in leisure. I have a lot of people who've told me that even if they have $1 million shillings in the bank, and they know that, and they see on social media, and they also feel that they need to spend money on rest, they need to go on vacation, they never go on vacation because they grew up in such a scarcity mentality that they can't bring themselves to spend on themselves for vacation. So have you also seen such cases, and what do you think somebody could do to get themselves out of this scarcity mentality?
Those cases are cases I meet every single day. And the sad part is, even if we keep telling you that you deserve rest, you deserve leisure, you deserve to spend and enjoy your money, we tell you, but it remains stand, because healing is required for you to move from the place of scarcity to a place of abundance, because it starts at mind level. But also, every time we talk about scarcity and poverty, those ones teach the children involved a sense of worthlessness.
Okay.
That you do not matter through life.
Yes.
Even as we glorify poverty from time to time and think poor people are better, actually, probably they appear better because they don't get to spaces of acknowledging their worth.
Yes.
But healing your own self, if you're coming from such an environment, is one of the basic ways of beginning to enjoy life. So I will say knowing is one thing, healing is totally another.
Yeah.
Once you heal, then you provide yourself with an opportunity to embrace, yes, that I can actually, and I deserve. Because the deep-seated belief is, I don't deserve.
You don't deserve.
I don't deserve.
Yeah.
But once you believe you deserve, you'll go all out to do yourself that justice.
And moving yourself from I don't deserve to I deserve, you have to go through a process of, for example, seeing a psychotherapist like you in order for you to get this concept. And this is an important conversation for me because I see on a daily basis, I see so many videos, so many blog posts, and so much content created around self-care. And people are encouraged to buy candles, buy yourself flowers, take yourself on vacation. But still, I see people who say that I even have a list of the things that I'm supposed to, I even have a list of the things that I'm supposed to do in order to care for myself. But it just happens that this person is stuck and they actually never go on this vacation even if they have money. So one has to heal, like you said. It doesn't, so what you're saying, it doesn't come automatically.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Yes. So talk to us about learned financial helplessness, because another thing I've learned is that if you grow up in poverty, so maybe you can also tell us, like, how does growing up in poverty, so that we go to learned financial helplessness, how does growing up in poverty impact how you relate with your money?
Let me take a different tangent for now, then we'll come back to that.
Yes.
Learned helplessness where money is concerned is contributed by very many factors.
Okay.
And I know I am touching, this one I'm stepping on coal as I say.
It's a very
But the concept of my money is my money and your money is our money is one of the ways that children learn helplessness. Because when my money is my money and I don't spend it on us, I am teaching you that I have no capacity to either make or spend on us. Right? So you grow every time children ask for money, and my money is my money can be a woman or a man, it doesn't really matter the gender.
Okay.
But that child learns that the one who provides is this one, and this other one is dependent on the other. So that can be my money is your money, or one parent who totally doesn't work and is dependent on the other. Those ones are good factors of teaching money helplessness. Because when I have to send you to the other, when you ask me for basic financial, you ask me to meet basic financial needs, the child learns in the process that, well, if they're especially that gender, okay, that they don't need to do anything because the other gender will come and rescue them. So as adults, they grow into setups where they believe they have no capacity to do anything because that is what they saw modeled at home.
Okay, does this affect girls more than boys in terms of financial helplessness?
In the past, yes. But now when we've seen change of dynamics, when now women are becoming more the providers, then it is also going to affect the boys big time. But in the past, girls were the most, the highest, they are the highest number of victims in that setup.
Yes.
So that is one. But also in poverty, poverty teaches people that we can't do anything about us. Actually, the highest form of poverty challenge is the mind. Because everyone has capacity, school or not. Not everyone is doing well in life who went to school. And not everyone that didn't go to school is doing well.
Yes.
So there's no exact measure of success.
Yes.
And it's not dependent on any factor in particular. But I would say it is dependent on the mind and the skills that we learn to be successful. And of course, the healing we attain along the course of the journey. So poverty teaches people that you've no capacity to use your brain to make even the few skills you have and monetize them.
Yes.
Poverty teaches you that we can't do because we don't have, and those who have can do.
Yes.
So there's a lot of learned helplessness, not just where money is concerned, but even more money, because you've seen over a period of years, the program or the script that is, in your mind is, we can't do it because we can't. And so moving through life as adults, people have a lot of learned helplessness where money is concerned. Even when they get good jobs sometimes with no healing,
yes,
they are still in that space. Either they are doing replication, trying to save their families from poverty and feeling helpless because they are not able to do anything through their own life with their own money. So they end up at the same space of poverty when they had money actually working for them.
Okay. That's a very good point, because I also observed that people who grew up in poverty find it very, very hard to grab opportunities when they are presented to them. Like, you can have a very big opportunity, maybe to move abroad, get a big job, but then this person is frozen or actually stuck. And as a community or your siblings keep asking you, why is it that you cannot grab this opportunity? Why can't you get yourself out of the situation you're in? And so is financial helplessness, in that line, is then financial helplessness also connected to self-sabotage? What are the things that people do to sabotage themselves in that way?
Poverty is a lot connected to lack of self-esteem, self-confidence.
Yes.
And also the belief that I can't do it, because that's all you know. We can't do it.
Yeah.
So even when an opportunity is presented, you realize that someone who grew up and formed an abundant, kind of mindset is going to take it because they believe they are more deserving, however unskilled they are.
Yeah.
Okay. So the lack of self-confidence, the lack of rational believing in self, then takes someone to that space of believing they can't do it. So even if you're qualified, you still believe you can't do it.
Yes.
Now, overall, it keeps affecting you, because even when you step in, you will step back. That's what we call self-sabotage.
Yes. Inability
to keep going and, getting what you can, because you actually don't believe you can. So you will sabotage. Even when you get a managerial job, for example, or a top, in the top leadership, you still feel that so-and-so is more deserving
than I am.
Right?
Yes.
And so you continue to behave in ways that you're not deserving. Over a period of time, your mind manifests in your actions.
Yes.
And that's how we self-sabotage.
Okay, and now that you've talked about the mind, there's something very strong that you once taught me about how, there's this quote actually that talks about how our subconscious mind controls our life, and then we just call it fate, right? And for a very long time I used to read that quote, but it used to make sense, but it never used to make 100% sense until I came to therapy and realized that it's true. Like 99% of our lives is controlled by our subconscious mind. So can you draw for us a clear, connection between our conscious mind and what we think life is, and how our subconscious mind controls our lives, and maybe how that comes about from how we were brought up?
So our conscious mind takes a very small space of our mind, because it's what I can see. I can tell you're present in the room. That is now the conscious mind. I can tell that I need more money. That's in the conscious. But the subconscious mind, these are programs written over a period of time. And programs come from behaviors observed, emotions past. Because sometimes as we talk about it, Agatha, we don't talk about the emotions that were displayed where money was concerned, for example. So I asked for money, and the emotions that come with it is money does not grow on trees, you're misusing, you don't see we are struggling, we're doing everything, you are unappreciative. And so we learn that there's a lot of emotion like anger that comes with it. Wait until we are broke and we are angry towards everyone, not the boss, not our colleagues, not our children, because we carry subconsciously the emotions stuck and we didn't do nothing to heal them. So we imagine that chronological age helps us to mature and move from the pain.
That's what
no, it doesn't. So it remains stuck in our subconscious. We know we can get money tomorrow, but we are so angry because of the emotion that are stuck from our childhood. We are also stuck in the kadogo economy. You can't spend more, least pesa ishe. Like, so that tomorrow, to avoid not having tomorrow, spend little without realizing that it is the same brain that has the skill, that has mastered the capacity to make more money. So if you look at the old dynamic, it's a cycle. We keep going around from what we learned, what we saw, what we observed. It gets stuck in the subconscious until we revisit that subconscious space. The subconscious controls our world. The conscious gives us knowledge. We cannot implement it because the subconscious controls how we feel. The subconscious controls how we think. And then overall how we feel and how we think influences the action. So without healing the subconscious, we remain captives of the subconscious. And the subconscious directs day-to-day behavior.
That is very profound, because as somebody who suffered from the same thing until I went to therapy and I learned the money emotions I learned from my childhood, the thing I really feel angry, if I can use that word, of course, not violence, but the thing that makes me feel very angry about what you're talking about is that you learn these money emotions from your childhood, right? You pick these things from your childhood, and then you become an adult who doesn't know what is going on. Why am I self-sabotaging? And then you don't understand why you're self-sabotaging, and you don't understand why you behave the way you behave. And then there's a cream on top of this cake, guilt. So you are not to blame, and you don't know you are not to blame, and then you start feeling guilty because opportunities come to you. I know people who, you will send them job applications, you will send them scholarships, they will never make the application, and then a few days later they start feeling guilty. You cook yourself in the guilt because I've been there. You cook yourself in the guilt. Why could I not apply for this opportunity? Yet somebody took their time to send for me these opportunities. So how can we deal with this guilt? Because clearly it's a cycle. Guilt, yes. How can we deal with this guilt?
I guess the simplest way to explain it is, these are two different people at work. The adult that knows they need to grab the opportunity, and if they do not grab the opportunity, they are hurting themselves, they are betraying themselves. And the child who is stuck at, remember all those dynamics we've talked about? The child who is stuck at, you can't do it, you know. They will not even take you after all, you know. So there are all sorts of feelings and all sorts of thoughts around it from the child that is stuck. So you are negotiating with the adult who knows you can do it and the child. When you sit through the two people, there's the guilt because you failed the adult. But also there is the inability to move the child to the adult level because you have not healed that woundedness of the child. So the only way to deal with guilt, we can tell you, I am sure you have read, you have heard, you know that you know at knowledge level, but until you move the child to match up the adult, you will never be able to reason and effect because the child is stuck. The adult can tell that you're not doing well enough. So,
and because I've experienced this, I do know for sure your whole life as an adult then becomes a war. It's a war between the adult, as you described, who think they need opportunities, then the child, and so you're always fighting yourself, and your mind is always tired, and it's not a very pretty place to be.
I need to mention at that point, that is why money can never be the cause of depression.
What do you mean?
In real sense of a functional adult. Because a functional adult knows that they have the capacity to rise again, even if in the event a job comes to an end.
Yes.
You and I know we have skills that we can monetize.
True.
In an office or out of office.
Okay.
Okay?
That's true.
So a functional adult can never have money as a source of depression. And I do not mean to judge the person that struggles with depression because there's no money.
Yes.
I simply am trying to say there's some level of woundedness.
That is the root cause.
That's the root cause.
Yes.
So as we think about how we go through these levels of self-sabotage and everything, also we get to a point where we feel like, oh, there's no money, we can't do anything about it.
Yes.
So the overthinking and the crisis within, the one we are talking about, because of the wounded child and the rational adult, the internal conflict is what now takes us down the drain, because we constantly feel like we can't do this. So we feel stuck.
Yes.
And the stuckness, the not believing in ourselves, the negativity, then takes us to spaces of high anxiety levels and depression.
I think I understand. What you're saying is that you will be in a situation where, yes, you don't have money, but if your mental health is stable,
yes,
then you're able to have conversations with yourself and tell yourself, hey, I might have lost my job, I might not have money in my bank account today, but I have the skills, you know, I can apply for a job and all that. And so you know that tomorrow you'll get a job, or 2 months from now you'll get a job, and so you do what you need to do.
Yes.
But if you are a wounded child, it means that you will not do what I'm saying. You'll just, you know, cover yourself under the blanket, sit in the house for the next 1 year and cook yourself in that broth of guilt. And that's what, wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's very profound. And
You've broken it down more simpler.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I am saying.
Wow, that's profound. Okay. Earlier you talked about manuscripts or negative money emotions. So I do know that almost all of us, unless you've healed, have money emotions, often referred to as manuscripts, that direct our relationship with money and therefore affect our financial well-being. Almost all of us. So we are going to go through a few of the ones that I have experienced from my coaching clients or the people I interact with who read my blog or YouTube. The first one I've had is, I don't deserve to be paid so much money. And especially this is common with women. What do you have to say about this? Why do women especially, it also happens with men, but why do people feel that I don't deserve to be paid so much money? Some people even don't negotiate, right? Or even when you're told that here's a job, you're going to pay you $2,000, you're in shock. You know, should they really pay me that amount of money? Why are people thinking that they don't deserve money?
Childhood traumas, diverse.
Yes.
But then I am waiting to see one day you and I go through sessions with people who came from families where money was handled in a healthy way.
Yes.
And the parents were doing well,
yes,
feel they didn't deserve payments.
Let me give you a practical example now that we've talked about it. I have a friend who she grew up in a level of poverty, and she got married to someone who has never experienced poverty. And I remember her telling us that there was one day they were having a conversation with the husband, and so she was telling him the things she went through childhood, and the husband was just looking at her thinking, that actually happens. And so she told him to give her an example of something he went through as a result of lack of money in his childhood, and he couldn't come up with an example. And so one observation that she made from her husband is that this guy has no anxiety. He has no anxiety. She's shocked that he has no anxiety. He doesn't sit down and think, what if I don't make it? What if I don't get a promotion? What if tomorrow we are unable to afford our rent? He never thinks like that. So you see, these are two people from completely different worlds. That this one is from an abundance mentality. He never panics. He has no panic attacks. And her, even if she has a stable job, she always thinks, what if tomorrow doesn't make it? And so this is one of the candidates who would think, I don't deserve so much money. Is that right?
Yes. You've explained how manuscripts work.
Yeah.
It is coming from somewhere.
Yes.
You just don't wake up and it's scripted.
Yes.
It has been scripted over a period of time and stamped by the behaviors that we carry and the attitudes and perceptions as adults.
Yeah.
Because the moment you feel you don't deserve, then you don't go for it.
Yes.
Then you prove yourself, you continue to prove your script that actually I knew it.
You keep sticking to your script and
Yeah.
proving to yourself that it's true that you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
So you really have to heal in order for you. So just telling people, just learn how to negotiate for a bigger paycheck is not really a solution.
No, that never works.
That never works.
If that worked,
Yeah.
we would not have families that still are struggling with domestic violence, because there's a lot of wokeness.
Nowadays especially.
Exactly.
Yes.
So there's a lot of advocacy and sensitivity, you know, and raising awareness. So if telling people changes the programs, if it changes the scripts,
Yes.
we would have no violence as at now.
Yes.
But trust you me, the same is very true for money. We will continue to struggle with money because of the traumas that we carry, either around money. Basically, every trauma has relation with money because
Yes.
they are so interconnected.
Yes, that's true.
So we will continue to struggle with our traumas and the experiences and the scripts until we take our own deliberate process of healing and growth of self-awareness.
Okay. Another script I hear I hear a lot from women especially is that women are terrible with money. Is this a default setting that women are terrible with money from a psychological perspective?
Are they? Actually, I think not.
Actually, they are
Probably in my experience is a lot more the opposite.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But let me give an example.
Yes.
In my own family, I saw a lot of money management done by my mom.
Yes.
She was exceptional at it.
Yes.
She had her own challenges where money is concerned. But of course, one of her strengths was she was very exceptional with money management.
Yes.
We were 11 of us, and there were farmers, and for sure we are just a comfortable life,
Family,
really.
yes, yes.
So, but I saw her managing, being able to pay workers, do all this money management thing. And one of the things I have not struggled in life with is to manage money.
Yes.
But I am speaking from a place of privilege.
Of course.
Because that is what I saw done.
That's what you saw.
That is what I learned.
Yes.
At some point, I remember my mom telling us to do our own budget.
Yes.
And you're giving money to go budget.
That happened in your childhood?
Yes.
Wow.
I remember that very, very well.
Yeah.
I don't remember us being followed when we were in high school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, of course, there are money challenges I also experienced. But this is to say that what is learned at home. And again, in the past,
yes,
women were very disempowered where money is concerned.
Yes.
So where were the girls learning money management from? For example,
yes,
the modeling they were seeing was very wrong.
yes,
But today, I'm sure in the next 10 years, we'll be speaking a different language because women are also rising and being able to do their own money management things.
yes.
So clearly that is going to shift.
As I was saying, is that anybody can be terrible with money. I have learned as a personal finance coach and writer that anybody can be terrible with money as long as you're not as long as you're deliberate. No, anybody can be terrible with money as long as you're not deliberate about learning better money habits, learning how to save, learning how to invest. So, but the thing that worries me about this script that women are terrible with money is that I've also learned that this is one of the things that leads to financial abuse. Because women get into relationships, not necessarily marriages, women get into relationships or marriages believing that women are terrible with money. In fact, I know someone whose mom, just like your mom, was very good with money, and the mom was able to manage their home as they were growing up. And I remember this lady telling me that from observing my mother is a saver. In fact, that's how she described the mom, that my mom is a saver. She tells me that if you went to her mother today and told her, "Mom, I need 500,000 shillings," in 2 days her mother will get you that money, and she'll not take a loan. You see, so her mother was a saver. So that's what she learned from her mom. And then she got into the relationship, and she was told that in a relationship, the man is the one who is supposed to manage the money, right? And so it was hammered on her that it's the man who's supposed to manage the money, and for you, when you're paid, give me your salary. These are some of the things that happen in a relationship. And then eventually, a decade later into the marriage, she became very terrible with money. And so that's what really worries me. And so also, apart from learning, so how else does financial abuse come about in relationships and marriages? Yes.
Let me go back to that space because I'm itching to just say something.
Yes.
Most of what you described,
Yes.
that the man is the one that manages the money in that kind of a belief system.
Yes.
What people don't realize is not exactly that the person is good at management. That is control. It's a form of financial abuse.
In fact, she recognizes that she's been gaslighted for a decade. Yes.
So that is control. But most of it comes from homes where also the man was not productive, even if they were the ones that owned money, for example. They did all sorts of things and wrecked their home because at some point they didn't do what they were supposed to do for the family to develop.
Yes.
So in some cases and setups like those ones, and some I've handled, is the person, the male person in that home swears to never be like their father, who mishandled the money.
Okay.
So in their own family, they choose to be what their father was not.
Okay, so this person is also acting, the person who is financially abusing another person is also acting based on their childhood.
Abuse.
So they're not even to blame.
Yes, largely. That's why I say the abuser, no, the person abusing, let me not label people, the person abusing and the victim of abuse both need healing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's new, because a lot of people would rather concentrate on the fact that she's being abused, and so the other person, you know, we need to like blame the abuser, yet even then they're struggling. That's what you're telling us.
That's the point. If a person came from a home where there was healthy relationship with money, the person by extension will have a healthy relationship with money. And when you, in cases of marriage, they do not need to control their spouses. What they need to do is to point to their spouse that you are having an unhealthy relationship with money, and you need to rectify that. You need to work on healing or building a better relationship with money. So really, where abuse exists is because they are coming from a point of abuse. There is no human being who gets abused first or who abuses first in marriage or in a relationship when they have never faced abuse. Because where did they learn that?